The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
You're watching a Nighthawk Network presentation.
In the building, thankful for another day of life. God is good. Got a lot going on. God is working, not only in my life, but in the life of the world of sports as well. So we here to talk about it as we do every Wednesday. Guru Sports Session. E-Buck here, of course. Got to have the Guru talk to Guru Sports Session. There he is. Hugh Lee, what's going on, Hugh?
What's good, E?
Nothing. But it's gonna be good enough. That being said, let's get into it.
Okay. I want to start off by talking about a few things that happened, in the college sports world. We could talk about like kind of a mixture of men and women. And one of the games that I've seen, because I've been watching a lot more basketball, if you didn't notice,
I
number
have.
11, Kansas versus number 13, Texas Tech. That was a really good, close game to the wire. Kind of disappointed with Texas Tech because, for one, JT Toppin was MIA in that game. But at the same time, I noticed that they had a big enough lead to where I thought they was going to, keep the grasp on it. And they kind of let the game get away at the last, 5 minutes of the game.
Good game for the observer. For me, myself, I'm starting to look at it as we get into February now. Is okay, what teams are going to make the tournament and make a strong run? You could argue that for Kansas. And what teams are just going to get participation trophy? I'm thinking that's where Texas Tech fit in. So, we got a couple future NBA prospects on that Kansas team. So I expect them to improve a little bit more, but I don't think they're going to be good enough this year to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, I like the fact that Darren Peterson hit the two late shots too, man. He hit one to get the game tied, and then he hit the game winner. So yeah, man. Surprised me though, man, because I figured that Texas Tech could be a little bit more advanced than what they are, especially like I said with JT Toppin, and they have some more players over there. But it can happen in any game. That's just college, and that's what I like about college because you have a lot of stuff going on here, and any team can win on any given day.
That's all I got on that one. Keep going.
Number 9, Illinois versus number 5, Nebraska. That
Here,
final score was 78-69. And that was actually a soccer to me more than any other game because the upset in that game, if you want to call it that.
Here's the thing, people. We're starting to see now as we get into the conference schedule that on the men's side, the Big Ten kind of making a couple steps up over the SEC in the ACC at this point. Definitely at least 5 or 6 very good teams in that Big Ten that not only should make the tournament, but might actually find themselves close to that Final Four. Illinois is one of them. Nebraska, they kind of right there on the fringe. I really like how Illinois is starting to rely more so on their 3-point shooting paralysis, and they always was a decent defensive team throughout the season. So, yeah, I definitely am looking forward to see how well they play in these upcoming weeks as they got some of the tougher teams on the schedule again, like the Michigans, the Michigan States of the world. So, yeah. But, yeah, that kid for Illinois, the freshman, he is definitely somebody to look out for.
Yeah, because we've been looking out for Peter Stojakovic's fun for the most part. We know he was banged up, but then Keaton Wagner been balling out. He had the 46 playing game, been averaging over 20. So yeah, man, I definitely feel like the Big Ten is definitely a powerhouse when it comes to this tournament. We're gonna get a lot of teams in. I just want to see how deep we're gonna go. But I definitely believe we're gonna, if I'm not mistaken, gonna have at least 2 teams in that Final Four. That's just my opinion.
I can see that, and I can see them getting as many as 11 or 12 teams in the tourney this year.
Yeah. Number 2, Michigan versus Michigan State. We always got to talk about the Michigan State rival. That was actually a pretty good game. At one point, it was a little too close for comfort, and I feel like Michigan pulled away at the end, though. What are your thoughts on the game?
I think that was the best game of any game last week. And apparently, I'm not the only one that felt that way. That Michigan State game was the most watched Friday night basketball game college
Absolutely.
in the history of Fox. So that lets you know over 2.7 million people tune in on a Friday night. That's kind of impressive. And they did get
Really
their
good
money worth.
game.
That was a very good game. 2 very good teams. Keep in mind, they will play again at least one more time when they play in Ann Arbor. So would not be surprised if Michigan State turns around and beats them in Ann Arbor. Remember, in these last 8 or 9 matchups, Michigan State done won the majority of those. So yeah, those 2 teams I could definitely see making a Final Four. Those 2 teams I could actually see possibly winning it all.
Yeah, I like the kid from Michigan, Yasser Landenborg. If I'm hoping I'm saying his name right.
Yeah,
He 12 rebounds. They've been having a lot of monster games with everybody. It's been good distribution throughout the team, but yeah, they've definitely been happy with the way Michigan has been performing.
yeah, like I said, definitely it's I say at least 6 or 7 players between them 2 teams that I could see playing on the big stage.
Hey, what was going on, man? Because I seen this story, man, when they said 17 former North Carolina State players, male student athletes, had a lawsuit for sexual abuse from and sexual harassment from their from the sports of medicine, Robert Murphy, and it went up to 31. It's like, man, you hear a lot of this stuff now, not only in women, but you're hearing it in men's now. We heard it with the Penn State allegation, man. Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to see nothing like this again no time soon after knowing what the consequences have been in the past.
Michigan State with the gymnasts and the other female athletes. Michigan with the football team. Penn State. There's several other schools that's slipping my mind. I'm just familiar with them
Every
because
year it seems like.
every year this is happening. It's got to be some better checks and balances put in play because clearly this is a problem now. And it should not be, especially when you see these examples, but yet here we are years later still having the same discussion. Got to change the culture of how they contend with those things. I don't know if it means we got to start having people's privacy invaded by having somebody sit there and watch what goes on with them or whatever we need to do, but it got to stop.
Yeah, it's getting a little too out of hand, especially in college sports, man, because it's coming up more often now. We thinking,
Way
oh,
too
we
much.
hear it like once every other year, but we hearing it once every year now. And people are starting to come out, and there's way more people starting to confess and having these situations going on. And we already have things that got to be settled, like the NIL and the transfer portal and getting all this stuff together. And this is one of the biggest problems we had in a while. And they need to find a way to get this together, man, and get this situated.
Right, because clearly if you've got 31 students, all of them ain't lying. Somebody keeping it 100, at least a few.
I want to get into the women's hoops now. Of course, the Michigan State, because both of them played this weekend, man. That final score ended up being a close one, man. Of course, Michigan pulled it out 94-91 in overtime.
Here's the thing, we've been constantly talking about what the next couple drafts look like for the WNBA. A couple of those actually a few of those players on those 2 teams are definitely gonna have something to say about who goes where because they have talented teams. Keep in mind, there's no superstars on both of those squads, but they got several very good players on that Michigan and that Michigan State team.
Fundamental.
Once again, I point out, just like with the men's squad, those 2 teams will play again later on in the year, and I expect that to also be a good matchup. Not to mention, they both have the tournament, as in the Big Ten tournament, where I would not be surprised if they meet a third time.
Yeah, man. Mila Holloway, man, she had a career high in 26 points in that game, man. Definitely unexpected name to step up because we used to other names on that team, but I wasn't seeing her being a person who would actually take on that type of responsibility. But the whole Michigan team is actually a really good scrappy club, man. And yeah, it's like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if they play Michigan State and lose, man. Or they're gonna have to play two more times. So yeah, that was a pretty big victory. But I want to see where this go in the future, though, which will be shortly.
Yeah, you got to understand a lot of the maybe not so much the top 2 or 3 teams in the country, but like between that 3 and 15, a lot of those schools are very team based. So it's not a surprise when one person is the leading scorer one night and another person is another night because they base their whole concepts on team basketball. Definitely the case in that Michigan and Michigan State situation.
Number one, UConn versus number 15, Tennessee. That was a shocker to me because I thought that it was going to be a little better played on Tennessee side, but then at the same time, you got to give credit where credit is due. Everybody that you put in front of UConn, they just basically gave them belt to ass right now, and ain't nothing else to say about it. With AZ Fudd being the highest scorer in that game with 27 points, and they didn't really need to have everybody else really do as much damage, man, because at one point the game seemed close, and then it was just like UConn pulled away with it really fast in that second half.
For as good as UConn's defense is, and it's really good, the scary part is they ain't played their best basketball yet. When you consider there's several people on that squad that ain't really played much this year because of injuries and whatnot, it's several people that basically only get a little bit of time because that top 5 and UConn is so very good, but yet they don't get to play a full game because by the time they get to the fourth quarter, they usually then blew out the team that they're playing. And that's whether that team has been ranked or not ranked. Of course, we know the 2 exceptions, Louisville and Michigan. At this point, the only team I see beating UConn is probably UConn.
Number 8, Iowa versus number 2, USC. That one kind of surprised me, man, because the score was very lopsided, and I thought, yeah, at this point, Iowa would definitely step up, and definitely, of course, they was on the big stage, but I just didn't think that they was in a competition right now when it comes to playing UCLA, in my opinion.
Again, I was one of those teams I mentioned that plays good team concept basketball. The problem is they playing a UCLA team that got at least 3 very dominant players on that squad. When you look at Lauren Betts, when you look at Kiki Rice, when you look at Vasquez on that squad, all 3 of them is definitely WNBA bound at some point soon. So
Yeah.
The other good thing about UCLA, where they actually probably would have a shot against a team like UConn, is that they are a very, very, very veteran squad. A lot of juniors and seniors on that squad. So when it comes to the big stage, they won't be intimidated. Not to mention the fact they've played UConn in recent times. So, they know what they need to do to make happen. It's just the way that UConn defense can just crowd folks. They'll have times dealing with that. But also, UConn in turn will have a trouble dealing with the likes of Lauren Betts and the Puffs because they do got bigs, but they don't have bigs quite that size.
Yeah, and I think that it'll be a good matchup between her and Sarah Strong, man, because it's 2 versatile bigs. But at the same,
I definitely cannot see her checking Sarah Strong. That would not be wise for them to do. It'd be better for them to put their guards like the Vasquez and the Kiki Rices that's around that 6 feet, 6'1" size, that's close to Sarah's size, and have them try to check her. If Lauren checks her, she will be in foul trouble real quick.
yeah, and then you got to absorb your energy too, man, because she'll be fatigued by the time they go to the fourth quarter.
Right. The key, again, for UConn is they need to get people like Alfie more time to where she'll be comfortable when the postseason get here, and they need to somehow get Ice Brady healthy or at least get Keone's back from her shoulder injury.
Yeah, because I didn't expect that 88-65 blowout, man. I thought it'd be a little better as well on that end, just to be honest with you.
Like I said, everybody was healthy at UConn. That game would have been even worse.
I was talking about the LA game.
Same in that situation. because they got a couple injuries right now. Not to mention they still growing Sierra Betts, which of course is Lauren's sister. By the time we get to tournament time, she'll be ready to do some damage.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at first, man, when I was looking up on the schedule. When I wrote this, man, this next one about the potential Detroit versus Thunder NBA final, that can definitely be like a preview because they had to play Denver yesterday, man. But they played pretty well against a good Denver team. And then, one thing I liked about it was I didn't want to have no excuses. The first time we beat Denver, they beat them without Jokic, But then I think this was a pretty good key matchup, man. And it was close, but I was definitely liking what I still see with the Pistons, man, because the defense is so just they swarm everywhere, man. They will smother you. And I was seeing that because, most times you don't see Nikola Jokic having any problems, man. They let him do his work, other teams do. And we wasn't giving him a chance to really set his feet or even get settled. And we was on him.
What I like about this Pistons squad is they seem to be a good mixture of the going to work Pistons with the bad boy Pistons. They are very team oriented. Like I said, Cade is like a very unassuming superstar. He had games where he'll show out and be like, oh, I can put 40 on you if I want to, but I'm really trying to play with my team. And my only concern with the Pistons right now is that they probably could use another mid-range big that can shoot. And they definitely need some more shooters in games where they play a team like the Thunder that can be like, you know what? You can't do a shot for shot. We could play with y'all in terms of running up and down the floor because we young too. But if we get to hitting our shots and shooting, y'all gonna have problems with that. Because sometimes y'all don't bring y'all shooting shoes to the field. As far as Denver goes, now that Jokic is back and healthy, they definitely still in the mix. They're gonna have something to say about who wins the West.
Yeah, they got a really good bench too. Finally, that's one thing they didn't really have before that they have now. They had it when they won the championships, but now that they got the depth back now with Valanciunas and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown and all them guys, man, it's definitely gonna be worth watching, man, because he can finally go out and get a little rest, and you still have a veteran center who's not too shabby, So yeah, it's gonna be pretty good in the West, man. And it's funny because when I wrote this list, man, this basically was like yesterday, but everything happened so fast in the NBA. And I was going to talk about the James Harden and then the Clippers exploring the trade, but it already materialized now. And we talked about James Harden going over to the Cleveland Cavaliers for what's Darius Garland.
This is a bad trade for both teams. I'm probably the only person I've heard say that. This is why I say that. James Harden is 36 years old. He is primarily a shooter. Yes, he is able to be an assist man. I don't think that's what he really wants. I think part of why he wanted this trade facilitate because he wanted to kind of go back to be shooting James Harden and not worry about having to control the ball so much. Keep in mind, this trade works for them in the short term if Spider decides, you know what, I'm willing to share the ball with you, James, but in the same token, we still got to let everybody else cook. If that works out, then yeah, that probably moves Cleveland up to maybe that second or third spot, but I still don't think they'll be good enough to win the East. Long story short, once that don't work out and we get to the playoffs and James Harden chokes again, now we say, okay, where do they trade him to next? Or is it time for him to say, look, I'm ready to go ahead and be the sixth man off the bench or whatever the case may be. This trade don't work out for the Clippers because you don't get equal value. Garland is a decent player. I will even say he's a good player. He is no James Harden. He is no game changer to the point where, okay, now that we got this dude, now we can make a run here in the West. West, of course, still being much stronger than the East. In the end, you just basically got some extra money off the books. So that's why I say bad trade for both.
I look at it. Only reason why I look at it like it wasn't as good as the trade as it could have been is because you didn't add anybody to the mix with Garland, man. Because, like you said, he's a young dude but they still needed an extra player to me because of what I feel like James Harden's going to give to the actual Cleveland Cavaliers organization, man. You need another shooter because at the same time, too, Darius Garland don't even stay healthy. Him and Colin Sexton, man, it was just like the same player and they're never healthy. So that was a bad dude. But
True.
yeah, man, and there's more competition in the West than it is the East. So I just think that James Harden got a free pass, and a lot of people looking at him now, man, and talking about how unloyal he is. And this was like 5, 6 different teams, man. I think this was like 5 teams in the last 6 years. So
Yeah,
that's
6
not
teams
consistent.
overall. I mean, bottom line, mercenaries for hire. They've been saying the same about KD these last couple of years. He don't care. He's still getting his bread.
Milwaukee Bucks, man, counter offer for Giannis Antetokounmpo at one point, and now that shifted to them saying, "Man, we'll listen to talks." Man, do you think by any means, before this trade deadline is over with, that you would see Giannis on the move?
Giannis will still be with the Bucks at the end of tomorrow. I'm 90% certain of that. Giannis will not be with the Bucks when the season starts next year. I'm about 95% certain of that. They're gonna hold out.
Because they're not giving up a king ransom to just to have him for just this season. I don't see no team doing that.
If
That's
you're
just
gonna get 2 or 3 very good players for him and a couple picks, or you're gonna get one decent player and a whole bunch of picks.
and I wouldn't do that just for not knowing how long he's going to be on my team. So yeah, that part is where I think that he's just leaving free agency.
Well, I don't think Milwaukee willing to let it go like that. They're gonna try to get something.
Paul George suspended for 25 games for violating the league drug policy.
And see, I'm torn on that one, Hugh, because with him having been in the league so long, I know he ain't been that stupid. I know he ain't been that stupid to do something that would cost him that amount of money. We talking about a good $10, $15 million that's gonna cost him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's one of them stupid scenarios where he got caught up drinking something wrong or eating something wrong or the supplement he took wasn't properly explained to him. These things happen, you know what I'm saying? So again, he got to follow the rules like everybody else. But I don't think this was something that he was like, yeah, I'm trying to get over. He don't seem like that type of person to me.
Especially when they do random drug tests. I didn't look at that neither, man. And then plus, it didn't help too because of the injuries he had, but it might help him. Might not help his pockets because, like you said, technically it's 15 million. They want to put it in terms like 14.7, but it's 15 million in our book, man.
Yeah,
And
bottom line, that's
I
more than
never
me and
see.
you will ever make in our lifetime. So
I never see. And I just felt like when I seen that, I said, okay, man, it has to be something more to it, man. But at the same time, unfortunately, no disrespect to PG-13, they don't really need him at this point. You still see how they blowing out teams, man. Thank God Joel Embiid has been pretty healthy right now. We don't know how long that's going to be. But then you got VJ Edgecombe and you got Tyrese Maxey and the brothers over there balling, man.
it do look like even if they don't survive the 2 of those guys, they do got a solid foundation for the future.
All right, E man, I'm gonna name the person who's gone now on this list because I had a top 10 and Giannis was the first one, but we didn't see him move yet. But the Anthony Davis going to you know, Washington, man. Damn, you ain't even stay in Dallas for like a whole year technically before they made this move, man. He just can't stay healthy, man. He had too many injuries this year as well. So I looked at it and I said, man, that's sad, man, because he's a good player, but he's never healthy, man. And I felt like they was trying to get him off the books and, hit the reset button in Dallas, man. What is your thoughts on that?
The funny thing is, I ain't think about how that helped Washington. I didn't think about how that hurt Dallas. I thought about how the smartest person in the building right now might be Rob Pelinka because he got rid of Glass Joe right on time and got him Luka and got Luka to fully buy in. So now the whole Dallas situation, yeah, granted, in the end, it got you Cooper Flag, and that's kind of a good complimentary prize for it all. So much so that's part of why you get rid of Anthony Davis because you
Pretty
figure,
much.
okay, we
Pretty
about to
much.
build around this dude now, him and Kyrie. but then in the same token, you still feel like somebody messed up big time. Because I think you definitely will rule today that you traded this future Hall of Famer. It's going to come back to bite you time and time again. That being said, the Wizards getting these deals, it's really not going to help them. I don't look at them as an organization that's really trying to win for real. They remind me a lot of those early Clipper years where they would get these top 5 picks, the Oliver Candys and people of the world, and not do nothing with them. Then they would get the veteran every now and then, like the Dominique Wilkins and stuff like that, and it still don't work out. This is where we are with the Wizards right now. The Wizards, they got these people. They probably win a few more games than they would have, but they still a lottery team. And granted, there's going to be some very good players coming out of this particular draft, but I don't see none of them making it to where the Wizards matter no time soon.
Yeah, it reminds me of them Clipper years with Danny Manning when they
exactly
how good they ended up getting, man. But then before they got really great, guess what? All that whole team got shipped off, man. So yeah, I just don't really see that really.
Right. Even in a weak Eastern Conference, I still don't see the Wizards being anywhere close to good no time soon.
That was just money off the books, man.
Right, because you don't have some players ain't gonna end up staying there no way.
No, not at all. And I want to ask you, out of some of these other players on this list, man, do you think when I say their name, they either stand or leave it? Jonathan Kuminga.
He gone.
Michael Porter Jr.
I'm 50-50 on that one. And don't be surprised if the Pistons ain't done dealing, because there's still a lot of talk about them picking up Michael Porter Jr.
Okay. Ja Morant.
Ja, I think they stuck with Ja for now.
Yeah, because you've seen all the moves.
If he was going to get traded, he would have been traded already.
Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm going to say he stays.
Yeah, it's been a little controversy behind his name, and he probably pushing to leave, because he feeling some kind of way. He been hearing about his name in them trades and Giannis. And
only way he leaves is if he end up in Milwaukee.
Zach LaVine.
Why is this name still buzzing around? You thought Sacramento had got some things right, but when they fired Brown, it all kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised they're trading, but again, Sacramento kind of in that same boat the Wizards is right now. They was good till they wasn't.
75% chance on that one. Chicago Bulls Ayo Dosunmu.
I don't know what they willing and not willing to do in Chicago. Clearly, they have decided we need to switch
with Chicago
all the way around.
I was pissed today, man. We'll talk about that, though. RJ Barrett.
Again, this young man just ain't lived up to his full potential.
Oh, man,
he had that one decent season with the Knicks. Outside of that, you almost forget he even in the league right now.
He's definitely a bust, man. Yeah, I agree. And Kristaps Porzingis, I think his is going to be more of getting him off the books situation.
It's sad what happened to him.
Yeah, because remember how good he was in that draft when he went to the Knicks.
And I felt like if they just would have rolled it out a little while, they would have got. I mean, the only good thing is at least he messed around and got himself a ring in the mix of all this foolishness.
Yeah, agree. All right, E, man. Want to talk about some of them trades, man, that happened at the, just recently happened. Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit agreed to the multi-team deal to send Jaden Ivey and Michael Conley Jr. to the Bulls. Kevin Huerter, am I saying his name?
Huerter, yep.
Huerter, and Dario Saric and went to the Detroit Pistons. And it was a trade swap with the first round protected from Minnesota. Was that basically made the whole 3-team deal? What was your thoughts on that deal?
That basically the first round pick kind of a wash thing. You know what I'm saying? The Pistons gonna have a high pick. The Timberwolves gonna have a high pick, so it don't too much matter on that one. Huerter helps a little bit with the shooting situation. Sark is probably the key part of what they got in that deal, I definitely think that he gets more playing time during the second half of the season, particularly if they're trying to keep Tobias and keep him healthy. If Tobias is gone, then yeah, definitely he'll get more playing time at that point. As far as Chicago, I just think they decided we just gonna start all the Smurf over because this is one of a couple trades you're gonna mention involving Chicago. So I don't even know what to make of. I mean, all I can see is them just saying, you know what? Boom goes the dynamite. Let's start all the hell over. So I don't even think it matter who they get, who they don't get, who they trade, who they don't trade. Their thought process is okay. Let's finish up this season. We'll figure it out from there. Let's get a couple draft picks in this lottery, and let's rebuild the Bulls.
But that's how it looked like, man, after seeing some of the stuff that went on with them, man. And that was just the one trade they did already.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis Grizzlies traded star forward. I didn't like this one. The Jared Jackson Jr., John Concher, and Jock Lindell and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, and Taylor Kendrick, and George Nang, and 3 future first-round draft picks. What was your thought on that move?
My thoughts on this is that it sounds like to me, and would not be surprised if Memphis is setting itself up to move somewhere. Because right now, that dude and Josh the franchise. If you basically looking to get rid of both of them, you saying at this point we can't compete in the West. We ain't gonna try to. And you know, Memphis has been a problem spot these last few years in terms of people and logistics and crime and all of that. So would not be surprised if we hear sometime later on down the line this year that they selling the Grizzlies or they moving the Grizzlies. And the NBA being the NBA, I definitely can see them approving that because that's not one of the better markets anyway.
I've been hearing a lot of coughing around now saying Seattle want another team too in the NBA. You've been hearing
And
anything
that's
about that?
definitely a possible destination. They've been talking about that for years now, putting the team back in Seattle.
Another move from the Chicago Bulls, of course. I thought this actually was a pretty good move for Boston. Was Chicago Bulls traded center Nikola Vucevic, right? Vucevic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I butcher names. And the second round pick to Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons and a second round pick. I actually like Simons, man. But then I kind of figured, they had enough shooters over there that they could actually, move on from Simons and this, deal that they had. But getting Vucevic, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was actually a good pickup for them as a big.
I think that deal actually benefited Chicago considering their other moves because in the end, you get a backcourt with Simons and Ivy, although they pretty much saying Ivy probably coming off the bench. I feel bad for him because part of why I wanted him to be traded was so he could go somewhere and get more playing time. But nonetheless, Boston, they still about where they at. I don't think this move basically makes them any more better or any more worse.
No, I just think they're going to be an average team probably.
I think they end up being like a third or fourth seed. They probably make it to the second round. That's probably about where they stop.
We thought, actually, my opinion, I thought they was going to be worse than that. So that's a lot of credit for that team and some of the youngsters.
I really thought they'd be like a fourth or fifth seed when all was said and done. And in the end, remember, this is kind of a gap year for them anyway, till they get Tatum back healthy.
The Dallas Mavericks traded, 10-time NBA All-Star Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell to the Washington Wizards for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham. Who the hell is that? And I feel bad for this one dude right here, man. He's familiar. He's been on the Detroit Pistons. Marvin Bagley III. Man, they didn't pass him around like a rag doll, haven't they? In the second round, 2 first-round picks and 3 second-rounders.
And a partridge in the pear tree. Man, look.
Jesus,
Dallas,
crazy.
At this point, look like they on a 50-50 with it. We still might make the playoffs, so let's not completely screw us over. But, yeah, let's try to get rid of all the junk because the bottom line is it wasn't much love for AD in Dallas. Okay, they
Not
did
at
not
all.
like dude. They did not like dude. And in
Especially
the
after
end,
he
it's not but half his fault. Okay,
yeah.
half his fault because he ain't never stay healthy, but the other half because when you
Luka.
trade somebody that they love dearly with Luka for whoever it was, that person was gonna have a problem. As far as people like that damn Bagley Jr., it seems like it's about 5 to 10 players every year that end up somewhere else. And that's
Dennis
one of them
Schroeder.
damn names.
Dennis Schroeder, what of
So
a
don't
two.
be surprised he start a couple games. Don't be surprised he ain't dressed half the time. He just there, okay? As far as the rest of them people, we just trying to even some stuff out. So it is what it is.
How did you feel, E? I sent you something, man. It was in my algorithm, man. It's really surprising to me to say that all the players in the 2018 drafts has been traded. All of
As in the NBA draft, all the
them. Mhm.
first round players have been traded. That's kind of crazy, ain't it?
Most of them, I couldn't believe that because when I saw it, I said,
That's
damn,
a
most of
very
them are.
interesting stat.
And you know Marvin Bagley Jr. been traded like 4 or 5 times, but most of them
Man,
have been
I know it's a
traded
story
2 to 3 times, though.
Wasn't Lonzo Ball in that draft also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go there.
All right. Let me find that one. Cavaliers have agreed to trade Lonzo Ball and 2 second-round picks to Utah Jazz. Sources said, and they were saying right now that the discussion was meant to be made about his future, but I'm hearing too that they're not going to keep him on that roster. They're going to basically cut ties with him and let him go to a contender or like anywhere he want to go. But I think there's going to be like a payout for that one.
I think Lonzo plays another 1 or 2 years in the league. Rumor has it that his brother, as you know, has become a rapper, and basically it's said that his raps has been written by his brother. And if y'all heard Lonzo rap, he probably a better rapper than his brother, but ain't neither one of them necessarily Method Man or Tupac, mind you. But would not surprise me if after that we get Lonzo trying to enter the rap game after this. As far as the rest of it go, it's just another Bronx here, just another trade.
How did you feel about this trade right here? The Philadelphia 76ers are trading guard Jared McCann to the OKC Thunder for a 2026 Rockets first round pick and 3 second-round picks.
That's more about the picks. It really is because again, what I'm looking at from Philly is they seem to be making a concert effort to say, okay, we still want to try to contend right now, but this is us setting up for
A
our
future.
future. And keeping in mind, despite the fact that they the champions and they got all that talent over there with the Thunder, people still forget they still got a lot of extra picks to play around with.
They got tons
So
of
I know
picks
that sounds like a lot of picks they gave away, but that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what they got over there.
because they still can make move with picks if they want to pick up a player or
They got
anything.
first rounders for days.
They still got the they playing chess and the other teams is playing checkers with their draft.
Absolutely.
Another Chicago Bull for you. Chicago Bulls traded Cody White and Mike Conley Jr. to the Charlotte Hornets for Colin Sexton, Ousmane Dang, and 3 second-round picks.
It's time for Michael Conley Jr. to wrap it on up, bro.
I believe so too. It's his time.
Calling
This
his
is
career. I mean, it's crazy. If you remember, that dude played with and I forget his name because he ended up being a draft bust. Odin, there we go. Remember Odin back in the day? It was like either you're gonna pick Odin or you're gonna pick KD. And everybody's like, you should pick KD, but of course they went with Odin over there in Portland, and that didn't work out so well. But
Not
keep
at
in mind,
all.
Conley Jr., both of those guys was on that team from Columbus back in the day. But
But it really panned out, even though my man Conley had a little more longevity though.
yeah, but long story short, he had a solid NBA career. He done made some money. I can see him in a couple years probably coaching. Wouldn't be surprised if he find himself on that campus again, being a head coach somewhere down the line.
I think he could be a heck of a coach too.
I agree. As far as Chicago, again, boom goes the dynamite. I don't think it matters if they make out good with all these trades or if they don't. Because I think the plan is if they work out, yeah, we'll keep some of these guys then. If it don't work out, well, we was blowing all this up anyway. So, yeah, all y'all can scoot to the right, run us some extra draft picks, and let's get to making things up. I mean, the problem I'm having with the Bulls is the fact that, remember, they ain't one of the largest markets in the NBA. And they got the cachet to say, yeah, this is the Bulls. This where Jordan was champion, blah, 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 blah. You would think people want to go there and play because of that. They couldn't even keep people that live there on that damn squad. The Derrick Roses and the Dwayne Wades of the world. So I don't know what Chicago do.
The Hornets acquired Ousmane Dieng and a second rounder from OKC Thunder for Mason Plumlee. And Dieng then was rerouted to Chicago amid multiple transactions.
The smartest thing Michael Jordan did was acquire that team, make some money with them, and trade them.
Mm-hmm.
That was so smart because that made him a multi-billionaire. Because in the end, that Charlotte market, they deserve better, but they ain't going to get better, okay? Hopefully when they WNBA team come into town, they can actually get somebody that's trying to work with them on getting a championship because Charlotte Hornets ain't winning nothing no time soon. And I feel bad for people like Miller and LaMelo on that squad because they just basically wasting their career there right now.
Good-ass players too, man.
Right.
Los Angeles Clippers, Brooklyn Nets, and the Toronto Raptors has agreed to a multi-team trade, sending Chris Paul to the Raptors and Ochai Agbaji and 2032 Raptors second round and cash to the Nets.
Here's the killer part. You almost forgot the fact that Chris Paul's still kind of floating out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He ain't really officially retired or anything like that. That being said, he probably should.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if he play on that squad at all.
Glad you said that. He's not going to return. He's not going to report to the team. They said that they still could discuss trading him if he wanted. And what I'm believing is I just feel like they just wanted to clear that $7 million off the cap space with him, man, and the taxes. But I still feel like that.
I think he's joining this newfound crowd that we having of former NBA players that's retiring and deciding that, okay, now it's time for me to train my son to be in the NBA. Because it seemed like, particularly with the Banana Boat crew, as they was once known, all of them got sons that's either in college or in the NBA. And, that seemed to be the route to go. Even some of them going as far as, like with Gilbert Arenas, he got son in college going to NBA, daughter in college going WNBA.
Smart move, I may say.
Not bad at all.
And I know the son's playing really good, man, from the games he played. I know he put up 29 lately, and I know his daughter no slouch neither. So, yeah, man, I feel like that's a smart move on
right. And, we done see the little highlights of little Chris Paul Jr. getting it in.
Yeah,
so
he's pretty decent. What grade is he in, like 8th, 9th? He's still
like they all around, like I say, either they right on their way to coming to college or they right around that age. You got him, you got White Chocolate's son that's playing. You got it's several of them. You got Larry Bird's grandson playing. I mean, it's a few of them out there.
All right, E-Man, anything else you wanted to add before we do our Super Bowl predictions, or you wanted to take a break right quick?
All right, I say we're going to take a little break. When we come back to the show known as the Google Sports Session, we will talk Super Bowl predictions and such. Until then, y'all stay tuned. We will talk to you after these words from our Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network. What's the motto, Hugh?
Our voices from our people.
That's right. He talks sports his way. It's the Guru's perspective.
If you're building your dream from scratch, mic in one hand, hustle in the other, this one's for you. Road to Stardom Network and Nighthawk Network present a podcast for the indie by the indie, all genres, all grinds. From hip-hop to metal, jazz to trap, we're breaking boundaries. And it's not just artists. Entrepreneurs, creatives, and self-made bosses, we see you. We're giving you the spotlight. This ain't mainstream, this is your stream. Coming soon. Be ready.
Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies. Game on, I play to win, this is my house now, let the games begin. Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies. Game on, I play to win, this is my house now, let the games begin. They threw bricks, but I built me a palace. Sharp in my mind, turned pain into malice. I'm a wolf in the jungle, a lion in the night. Eyes like lasers, locked on the fight. I'm the echo that shakes through the hall. Every time I fall, I grow 10 feet tall. No chains, no walls can keep me bound. I'm the thunder that roars when no one's around.
Tune in to Straight Sports Talk with Coach Vincent, Fridays at 8 p.m., sponsored by the Nighthawk Network Detroit. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
Victories are firing, I'm the flame. Game on, watch me rise from the dirt to the clouds to the star-filled skies.
What I'm talking about. All right, y'all, we are back. This is the Guru Sports Session. We were talking NBA. We are now about to talk about the Sport of Kings. That is the upcoming big game known as Super Bowl 60. We probably shouldn't mention that too many times. You know how they feel about mentioning
yeah.
Yeah.
Muting us and stuff.
Yeah, so the big game are what we're talking right now. First of all, let's get it on out the way. Tell me, Hugh, why you will not be watching the halftime show.
I just don't watch the halftime show.
Can you be more specific?
Don't interest me.
Is it never interests you, or it's the people that they pay?
A little of both.
If the Wu-Tang Clan ever did a halftime show, would you watch then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I went there. Now, that being said, let me go here, then we can talk about the actual game. It's going to be very interesting to see how the world at large contends with halftime this particular year. Keep in mind, we have an artist who is not known for English-speaking music. We've had artists like that in past Super Bowl shows, but not to the degree of a Bad Bunny. That being said, as you know, Bad Bunny is the biggest selling artist in the world right now. So it makes logical sense that he would be the halftime show. Now, that being said, there are several people who are putting out boycott the halftime show. There are alternative shows being put on instead of halftime. Since we talking Black History Month, I kind of want to go here. Do you know how we got to even having a halftime show in the first place?
Not really.
Let me break it down to you. Now, used to be the first several Super Bowls, there was no real halftime show. They just bring the band out, much like in a college game, and the band did a couple of jams, and that was that. What happened was one fateful day, Fox, who did not have the Super Bowl that year, decided, okay, since halftime is this big, long, drawn out, them talking sideline, let's take this time out to promote one of our upcoming shows that's we want to get some more exposure to. That show, of course, was In Living Color. So what happens is they end up doing a halftime spectacular and In Living Color instead of people watching the Super Bowl. And come to find out, it was highly rated. It's one of the highest rated episodes of In Living Color ever, in fact. So much so, they turned around and did it again the next year. Now, when another station had the Super Bowl after that, they said, oh, no, we can't have them keep stealing our audience like that because some of the audience end up staying over there for the whole hour and they don't come back to watch the game. So that's how we started having the big, spectacular Super Bowl shows. Started with, of course, Michael Jackson, and early on we had Paul McCartney and so on and so forth. And that's how we got to where we are today, with.
I remember that too. That was really good Living Color. I remember that Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
That whole Living Color for that whole time was actually pretty good. I think a lot of people came back late to that Super Bowl, man. Do you agree?
Yes. So my thing is, next year, if we do get a Super Bowl halftime show this year where people didn't tune in, or Bad Bunny didn't do a good job, or got too political, as a lot of people are concerned with, then next year we will definitely have a country artist doing the halftime show. And they will be mayonnaise, Wonder Bread, super plain white on purpose.
I probably did give it a sneak peek then, man. I'm definitely interested.
All right, I'm through smurfing with him. Okay, back to the game, y'all.
All right, man. So you already know what I'm about to say, man. There ain't really nothing else to say, man. Who do you got?
All the talking and talking. Again, I'm hating this week because ain't much to talk about in terms of this Super Bowl. Ain't a lot of good personalities, none of that. It's about the game. In the end, it boils down to two things for me. One, New England, they got there. They got an easier route, okay? Played a lot of the bad teams, but they beat them, okay? Had the worser route to get there because of weather conditions, what have you. They're the younger team. They do have the experience as far as the coaching goes, but when all is said and done, I don't think they got enough horses to pull it out. I got Seattle. I know it's supposed to be 3. I got them by a whole touchdown. And my whole thing is, if they end up getting ahead by 14 early on, this game going to be a rout.
The way Sam Darnold's been playing, man, and I believe in him this whole season, I don't really see that too much changing a lot, man. I have it by like 3.5 still. But I wouldn't even be surprised if they win this, but I wouldn't be surprised if New England win neither, man. It's like one of the weirdest Super Bowls that I've ever seen on paper. But at the same time, I just have a little bit of a more of an advantage to, I believe, as far as more of a polished all around team with Seattle right now. But like I said, I wouldn't be like surprised if New England won either, though. It's just, it seems like, especially if they could get Sam Darnold rattled with that defense, man, because some points he still might be seeing ghosts. I don't see it, though. I believe if he can play like he did against the Rams, yeah, they can definitely be the team that win the Super Bowl easily.
I think Seattle got more weapons. In the end, the Super Bowl MVP, I'm picking Jigba. I think he is Super Bowl MVP.
What school did he go to, E? Ohio State, didn't he? Yeah. Did you hear what he said when he was talking about when they was asking who's the better wide receivers from them in LSU? And he was like, man, the proof is in the pudding and how we just perform and what we've done on the big stage. And yeah, it's funny that you say that too, man. You didn't believe in Sam Darnold, but you believe in the Ohio State guy. I rest my case.
I don't like him right now. Keep going, man. Keep going. You know you're pissed me off. Go ahead.
That's all I had to say, man. I don't really have much else to say. But you know what, though, all due respect, all jokes aside, we definitely wanted to let you guys know that we was doing the Sanford and Son, man, and we wasn't going to do the actual Martin right now, even though we love to. But then losing Desmond Wilson, man, we had to make that change. And when E hollered at me about that, he was like, Hugh, do you want to, do the Sanford and Son instead? I said, man, I wouldn't have it any other way because, we wanted to give our respect and give our flowers first and foremost. And yeah, we had to get that one out first. We'll talk about the Martin one, but we definitely want to talk about Sanford and Son in memory of, Desmond Wilson, aka Lamont Sanford.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've been posting a couple clips on my page of some of the favorite episodes and moments. So hopefully you guys have been checking them out. I'll probably post a few tomorrow. But we definitely looking forward to having that discussion with you guys about the iconic Sanford and Son. Like I said, we lost Desmond Wilson last week. And of course, since it's Black History Month, it all kind of ties in and fits as we talk about one of the biggest black situation comedies in the history of television, Sanford and Son.
Yeah, it's some good clips you showed me too, man. It was a lot of memories, I
Absolutely.
forgot James Evans was on there until you showed me that. I said, hey, man, wait a minute, who was that? And I was like, man,
Yeah, we will definitely get into that because part of that legacy led to other shows and other legacies. So we'll talk about it. But yeah, of course, you know what to do at this point. Handle yours.
Right, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys been tuning in and want to get a little bit more people hitting up our comments, and at the same time, clicking our links, liking and subscribing as well. That means a lot, and that definitely help us out in what we're trying to do on our platform. You can catch me at Instagram on Hovey, WHOVE, WHOOVI. I'm sorry about that correction. Sports Guru to you on Facebook. And you can also catch me on TikTok, Hugh.Lee6. We basically trying to grow our brand, put our stuff up there for our platforms, for us people, by us people. Like he said, I kind of tweaked it up a little bit, but I want to give a shout out and thank everybody who chimed in to, shouts out to the Nighthawk Network, but we appreciate everybody who chime in on the regular as well. And we appreciate y'all and like to give y'all the thanks because without y'all, there wouldn't be no us. So thank you once again.
Yes, we want to thank all our consistent viewers from the past. We want to thank our new viewers that's been popping in and chiming in and comment. Appreciate y'all. Definitely want to thank all the affiliates of the Nighthawk Network. That includes, of course, Road to Stardom and her show, The Indie Experience, as well as Speaking Freely. Of course, shout out to Queen Gemini and Rumble Time. Shout out to our guy, Coach B, and Straight Sports Talk with Coach Vincent. And, of course, shout out to me and Hugh doing our shows, the Guru Sports Session and Talking TV. And don't, of course, forget on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock where you get the Guru's perspective. That being said, we also want to thank the affiliates. Of course, Dr. Marla Facey. Again, happy belated birthday. It was her birthday yesterday. She is a strong 60, looking not a day over 45. Of course, shout out to our guy Big Meech over there at Dish T with Big Red. We ain't forgot about you, our Nick. Shout out to you as well. And of course, shout out to my guy, Pastor Sean Love, doing his thing on Sean Pastor Love Presents. That reminds me to talk to your brother Sterling. He got some things going on. I wouldn't mind posting on the network as well. But anyway, that's pretty much what we got, y'all. Quick and to the point.
Definitely appreciate y'all for the love.
Yep, we will definitely kick it with y'all tomorrow. Talking TV, honoring the great Demond Wilson and the show Sanford and Son. Until then, y'all, be great, be blessed. When all else is looking bad, do like I've been doing to the fullest this week, putting your hands together and praying to the man and deal with the rest. God does answer prayer. I am living proof thereof of it. Till next time, we up out. Deuces.